Most men think dominance means being louder, tougher, more aggressive. They think women will respect them if they impress, if they provide, if they perform. They're wrong. In today's world, real power doesn't scream. It doesn't chase. It doesn't need permission to exist. The most powerful man isn't the one who controls others. It's the one who doesn't need to beg for connection, approval, or love. He doesn't get tested with silence or punished with guilt. He doesn't fold under pressure or reshape himself to keep a woman interested. Because in relationships, the weak man gets used. He gets led, manipulated, replaced. Not because women are cruel, but because nature tests what's soft and follows what's solid. So this content isn't about manipulation. It's about becoming a man who can't be bent. If you're tired of overgiving, of being chosen then discarded, of never knowing where you stand, watch this till the end, because I'm going to show you 5 Machiavellian rules for emotional and relational dominance, the kind that works whether you're single, dating, married, or rebuilding from scratch, the kind that makes women feel it and men respect it. Let's begin. Rule 1. Speak less, watch more. Power belongs to the man who doesn't react. Most men lose power not because they speak, but because they speak too soon. They defend too fast. They explain too much. They respond without thinking. And every time they do, they reveal something dangerous: emotional dependence. Machiavelli warned us clearly. A prince should learn to avoid being hated or despised. And nothing renders a man so contemptible as inconstancy. Translation: reactivity is weakness. The man who flinches first loses the game. Let's apply that to your love life. A woman gives you the silent treatment after an argument. Most men panic. They send long messages, call twice, apologize for things they didn't do. They think they're saving the relationship, but what they're really doing is surrendering the frame. She tested your center. You showed you didn't have one. Now let's take it outside relationships. You're in a meeting, a coworker cuts you off. You raise your voice, try to speak louder. Wrong move. The Machiavellian approach: let silence build. Make them uncomfortable with your stillness. Then deliver your words slow, sharp, intentional. Powerful men don't compete for attention, they command it by contrast. Machiavelli also wrote, "He who builds on the people builds on mud." If you rely on others' reactions to feel in control, especially women, your foundation will always crack. Here's a precise solution you can use today. The next time a woman pulls back emotionally, don't fill the silence. Don't chase the energy. Hold your posture. Observe. Let her wonder what you're thinking. Then, and only then, speak with calm brevity. One sentence, no pleading, no paragraphs. Because a man who stays silent under pressure becomes the one no one can predict. And a man who can't be predicted can't be controlled. Rule 2, control the frame. Control the frame or be trapped inside hers. People, especially women, don't respond to facts. They respond to the story they've already written in their mind. And once that story is set, even your best actions will get misread. Machiavelli taught, men in general judge more from appearances than from reality. All men have eyes, but few have the gift of penetration. He wasn't being cynical. He was being honest. Perception is power, and if you don't shape it, someone else will, usually to your disadvantage. Let's bring this to relationships. You keep giving, adjusting, proving yourself, hoping she finally sees your worth. But here's the problem. She already decided you're trying too hard. And once you've been framed as needy, even confidence looks like compensation. Even generosity looks like guilt. Now flip it. You say less, move slower. You speak when necessary and walk away when it's not. Suddenly, she starts assigning you traits you never had to announce. Mysterious, grounded, high value. Why? Because you controlled the frame before trying to influence the outcome. In everyday life, this plays out the same. 2 men enter a room. One is silent, well-dressed and calm. He observes more than he speaks. People feel his presence. They assume status. The other man tries to impress, talks too much, explains before being questioned. And even if he has more skills, he's perceived as insecure. Same facts, different frame. Machiavelli would say, "Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are." So the game is not to be fake, it's to reveal strategically. Here's a precise move to shift the frame, starting today. Stop chasing admiration. Stop forcing proof. Instead, appear with purpose. Speak with intention. Withdraw when necessary. Let her fill the blanks with imagination, not information. Because a man who doesn't try to be seen often becomes unforgettable. And in a world ruled by perception, that's how you win without noise. Rule 3, win her mind first. Win her mind before you win her heart. Attraction begins in the mind. And if she doesn't respect your mental clarity, she'll never stay loyal to your emotional investment. Most men try to win women by overgiving emotionally. They flood her with compliments, affection, long messages, but they forget one thing. Her belief system shapes her attraction, not your effort. Machiavelli would never have wasted time charming someone who already made up their mind. He believed in something deeper. The first method for estimating the intelligence of a ruler is to look at the men he has around him. Translation, who you surround yourself with or choose as a partner reveals your judgment, and that includes the beliefs you tolerate. Now let's make it real. In relationships, you message her all day. You send gifts. You try to prove you're not like the other guys, but you never pause to ask, what does she actually believe about men? Does she see men as weak, replaceable, dangerous? Does she even want love or just attention? Because if her core belief is that men always disappoint, no message or gesture will change that. She'll admire your effort and still leave, not because you lacked emotion, but because you lacked strategy. In everyday life, let's say you're at a family dinner. You try to convince your cousin that your business idea makes sense, but he already believes you're not serious enough. You show data, results, plans. Still, nothing changes. Why? Because people don't move because of truth. They move because of what they believe. Machiavelli knew this well. He said, men are so simple and so obedient to present necessities that he who deceives will always find someone who will let himself be deceived. But that deception starts in the mind. The game isn't played on the surface. It's played in perception. Rule 4, see through her mask. See through her mask without triggering the guard. Every woman wears a mask. Sometimes it looks like confidence. Sometimes it looks like sarcasm, independence, coldness, or control. But underneath, there's often a need for validation, a fear of rejection, or an old wound she doesn't want you to see. If you react to the mask, you lose. You'll argue with her attitude instead of understanding her fear. You'll defend yourself against her silence instead of decoding her expectations. But if you see through it, you don't just win the moment. You win leverage quietly, calmly, without war. Machiavelli saw this play out in every court, every kingdom, every power circle. He wrote, "It is double pleasure to deceive the deceiver, not to hurt, but to gain insight without exposing your hand." Let's break it down. In relationships, she says, do what you want. So you do. Then she's cold, distant, dismissive. That's not indifference. That's camouflaged attachment. She doesn't want to seem needy, but deep down she is affected. The average man either gets frustrated or starts over-explaining. But the strategic man, he doesn't react. He doesn't attack. He mirrors. He responds with calm understanding, not confrontation. He watches how the mask slips when pressure fades. In everyday life, you're in a store. The cashier is cold, almost rude. Instead of snapping back, you smile, slow down and ask, "Rough day?" And suddenly she softens. The mask breaks because her behavior had nothing to do with you. Just like many women's attitude isn't about you, it's about her inner battles. Same thing at a family dinner. An uncle criticizes your career in front of everyone. Later, you find out he's been laid off but didn't tell anyone. His pride wasn't confidence, it was a shield. And if you had reacted with ego, you'd have missed the truth. Here's the move that separates pawns from players. Don't try to fix or fight pride. Mirror it. Let her feel seen, not exposed. Ask calm, subtle questions. Offer emotional safety without trying to solve her. Then watch. If her pride drops and softness appears, she's real. If the mask stays glued, withdraw your energy quietly, completely, because the man who can see through armor and remain grounded becomes magnetic, not just to women, but to every room he walks into. Rule 5, be mysterious. Become the mystery she can't decode. The moment a woman fully understands you, she starts managing you. Why? Because predictability makes her feel safe, but not attracted. Mystery makes her feel something deeper. Anticipation, intrigue, respect. Machiavelli never wrote about dating, but his lessons apply perfectly. He warned men in general judge more by the sense of sight than by the sense of touch. Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are. Translation: let people see enough to believe, but never enough to control. In relationships, if she always knows how you'll react, you've already lost tension. You always text first. You always explain how you feel. You always give her access to your thoughts, reactions, and time. At first, she loves it. Then, she gets used to it. Then, she gets bored because nothing about you feels earned anymore. But the man who moves with purpose, who doesn't show his every card, keeps her emotionally alert. Not by being cold, not by playing childish games, but by staying composed, deep, unreadable. In everyday life, you're at a gathering. Everyone's talking about their wins, their plans, their opinions. You listen more than you speak. You stay calm. People notice you, not because you're loud, but because your silence forces them to wonder, who is this guy? That curiosity becomes your aura. Same thing at work. You don't announce every task. You don't defend every idea. You let results speak. And because no one can fully predict your next move, they respect your presence. Here's the precise shift that builds aura and magnetism. Stop revealing everything. Start speaking less than you know. Start revealing less than you feel. Start moving less than you're capable of. Because when a man becomes predictable, he becomes manageable. But when he moves like a mystery, calmly, powerfully, intentionally, he becomes unforgettable. And that is the essence of masculine dominance. If you've made it this far, the most important part is that you've already done what most men avoid. You've faced the mirror, you've stepped away from comfort and leaned into truth. In a world that teaches men to earn love by shrinking, apologizing, and performing, you've chosen something rare. Self-respect without conditions. Most men live on emotional autopilot. They chase validation, then resent the women who control them. They confuse intensity for intimacy, chaos for connection, and obedience for love. But you're building something else. Not noise, not neediness, but presence, deep, grounded, undeniable. These Machiavellian rules weren't made to make you colder. They were made to make you clear, to help you see through the smiles that manipulate, to protect your soul from being shaped by someone else's fantasy. Because let's be honest, most heartbreak doesn't come from being rejected. It comes from being accepted for someone you're not. But when you live by design, not by reaction, your silence becomes strategy, your boundaries become unshakable, and your love, it becomes a choice, never a leash. From this moment on, you don't need to explain yourself. You refine yourself. You don't fight to prove your worth. You become a man whose worth is self-evident. You lead conversations without dominating them. You inspire attraction without needing to perform. You show strength not by volume, but by what you refuse to tolerate. If you've made it here, you've already done what most men avoid. You've faced the mirror. You've stepped away from comfort and leaned into truth. In a world that teaches men to earn love by shrinking, apologizing, and performing, you've chosen something rare: self-respect without conditions. Most men live on emotional autopilot. They chase validation, then resent the women who control them. They confuse intensity for intimacy, chaos for connection, and obedience for love. But you're building something else. Not noise, not neediness, but presence, deep, grounded, undeniable. These Machiavellian rules weren't made to make you colder. They were made to make you clear, to help you see through the smiles that manipulate, to protect your soul from being shaped by someone else's fantasy. This is how kings are made, not in palaces, but in quiet moments of self-mastery. So keep building, keep choosing alignment over approval. Keep protecting your peace like it's a kingdom, because the man who walks in clarity doesn't chase, he attracts. And what he attracts respects him. Stay calm, stay strategic, stay sovereign. And remember, you're not here to be loved for a mask. You're here to be respected for your truth. One last message for those who truly want to change their life. For those who are ready to detach from the 99% and play a different game. What I'm working on will change the way women see you and the way you see yourself. It's coming soon, so stay tuned. If this spoke to you, don't just keep it in your head. Write a comment, even just a few words. It helps you remember, and it might help someone else too. Hit the like button if you enjoyed this content, and share this with someone who, in your eyes, needs it right now. Just trust your instinct. We're all trying to get clearer, more solid inside. So let's build minds that don't break.